You're right. Everyone knows where they were on that day, and everyone knows how they prepared. And he has some interesting memories of that.
So we'll talk to John around 9 o'clock, and we'll just get into whatever else we can find to get into today. So let's take a break, come back in a moment. The Stupid Question and Entertainment Report is up next. Stay with us on this beautiful, wonderful Wednesday morning. We'll return shortly.
Preston and Steve.
On 93.3 WMMR.
See Metallica perform live for the 35th anniversary of Master of Puppets and vote for the best song on the album. Plus, listen to the Preston and Steve Show's chat.
pizza gift card. So
Ooh.
Oh, that's pretty good.
pretty sweet deal throughout the course of the morning, so we'll have your opportunity. And got this nice little post, and it is from Mooms610, who's on Twitter, and said, first morning commute in 363 days.
Oh.
I missed you guys. The commuting, not so much.
Yes.
But yes, you're back at it. And as Kathy had noted the other day, and Chuck D'Amico was saying, because he doesn't get here till later than we do, that it feels like it's, like 70%, something like that there.
I'd say, but back, like, as far as traffic goes,
Yeah.
I'm seeing the normal delays that we always saw on the Schuylkill and 95, all of that coming back.
Yeah, while you don't want more traffic delays, it is a good sign that humanity is starting to come back into the wild, if you will, out in the open. All right, so I'm going to ask a stupid question. I'm going to give away a digital download of the comedic action thriller Pixie. And the question that I have for you this morning, in English currency, a quid is also known as a what? 215-263-WMMR. You hear that? I paid 30 quid for that.
Right.
All right, so what is a quid also known as? 215-263-WMMR. It's like our slang for money.
queef.
Or queef, if you want to. If you want to call it a quid, you go right ahead.
Can you break this queef for 2 quids?
All right, we're going to go through some birthdays while we're waiting for your answer. Today is Wednesday, March 10th. And speaking of England, we'll stick with the royal family. And Prince Edward's birthday is today. Edward of Wessex, who is Queen Elizabeth II's third son.
Eminently unforgettable, I guess.
I think so,
Not too controversial, has done what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, you know what? So he wins, I guess, because everybody else has got all kinds of weird stuff going on.
That's for sure. Andrew certainly is the most volatile of the lot.
So Edward is 57 years old today. It's also Chuck Norris's birthday today.
Oh, my God!
Chuck celebrates his 81st birthday today.
Wow, I didn't realize he was that old, and I probably say that every I probably say that every March 10th.
Yeah, he's
the total gym man.
Totally, yeah. And coloring your hair and doing other things like that too.
And tons of plastic surgery.
He has, but he's in physically.
He's in phenomenal
at
shape.
81. Oh my God, we could all only wish to be.
There was a movie on. I don't know if you remember this movie from years ago. It's a Chuck Norris movie, Preston. It's not really in his straight up full blown action stuff. There's a lab that's doing treatment on people, and it basically renders them indestructible. I think it's called Silent Rage.
Oh, no,
and so he ends up like this guy just murders his family in the beginning, and Chuck Norris is like a Texas Ranger.
Right.
It's actually good. It's really well done, but it kind of got lost in the sauce.
He's 81 today. Sharon Stone's birthday today. Sharon Stone turns 63 years old.
I think she has a new autobiography coming out.
Yeah, and I think she's going to sit down in that same backyard with Oprah.
Oh, really?
In the next week or two. I saw an ad last night, Steve, and it was the place where Oprah interviewed Prince Harry and Meghan.
Whose house is that?
It's one of Oprah's friends.
Yeah.
And but she's going to do a series of interviews there, including one with Sharon Stone.
By the way, speaking of that interview, and we're going to cover a little bit of that in a moment, the chairs that they're sitting in have been selling like crazy.
Come on, really?
Kid you not.
Wait, and I didn't even notice the chairs.
I didn't either.
I'm surprised.
Okay, quick question, Kathy. If you notice that whole set, is that an indoor-outdoor carpet they're sitting on, or is that pressed concrete?
I don't know. I'm pulling up a picture now.
Careful analysis of the scene has.
Since we want to see how the wealthy side lives,
right?
I wonder what they're sitting on. What that is.
So Sharon Stone's birthday today. Shannon Miller, who is an Olympic gold medal gymnast, is 44 years old today.
Indoor-outdoor carpet.
Okay.
Indoor-outdoor carpet. There you go.
I want to see.
You know what? I've always wanted an outdoor rug for our deck, but Rochelle doesn't want to get it because she thinks that it will discolor the.
I think she's right.
Yeah, if you leave it out there
she's
all
right.
the time.
It always does. So unless you have super duper expensive, millionaire deck, but look at this, Preston. It looks kind of cool.
Yeah. No, I like that idea.
You can tell because there's stone beyond that.
Right.
That,
Sharon Stone.
Different.
And she will be there.
We have indoor-outdoor car. I hate it.
Really?
I can't.
Because of maintenance?
Stand it. I think that has a little bit to do with it. But yeah, like it like bunches up and it gets those like
it's all soggy
ripples and sogginess. Yeah.
No,
like
that.
I can't stand it.
All right, you're turning
Oprah
me
probably
around.
has people who take care of her carpet.
You're turning me around on this
Yeah,
case.
we don't.
It's Edie Brickell's birthday today.
And the New Bohemians?
That was her band. She is still married to Paul Simon. They actually had a domestic incident several years ago.
They both appeared in court, and they both basically said they were both responsible.
Yeah, she's 55 years old today.
She could kick his ass, though.
This song was an actual iPuss moment for me in real life one time. Because
really?
I love this song, and I had it cranked up on the radio. I was driving to Penn State, and the dudes like pulled up on motorcycles or, and heard me blaring it. I was like, I'm going to turn this one.
Let me turn that down.
This song was on my mixtape that I made for the guy that broke up with me in high school.
Really?
Yeah.
You sent a mixtape to a guy after he broke up?
Yeah, remember? I think we actually listened to it. I think we went through it years ago. I brought
I didn't
it
know
in.
that was after he had...
Yeah, he broke up with me. My friend was like, "Oh, I made a mixtape for so and so when he broke up with me. You should do that." And I was like, "You know what? Yeah, I will." I had like the double deck tape deck, and so I recorded
It's the only way you could do it.
from the cassette onto I
just don't see you as the pining type.
Edie is 55, not 5. Shannon Tweed, a former Playboy Playmate of the Year, Gene Simmons' wife.
That's right.
Is 64 years
Did
old.
I ever marry her, or is she still kind of my concubine?
They did eventually marry on that show.
Is that what I had my face removed for?
I don't remember if that was what it was for, but yes, it did indeed happen. They did get married.
And what was the name of that television program? Do you remember?
Oh, man. Family Jewels.
Family Jewels. There we
Wasn't
go.
Yeah, I
Real
think it was,
Chickens of New
actually.
Jersey.
Yeah, Real Chickens of New Jersey.
Yeah, I think it might be. I think you're right. Family Jewels.
The great Tom Schultz celebrates his birthday today. Multi-instrumentalist and producer of Boston. He wrote all those songs. He produced all those songs. He created technology in order to get that guitar sound.
Which is iconic. You were saying that in an interview you saw or read that he said basically he was Boston.
Yeah, there's a short documentary on YouTube that you can find, and it's called The Boston the Band Never Was or something like that. And essentially he had all these songs written. He had recorded all the music. I don't know yet who he had playing drums, but he played all the other instruments. From what I understand, bass, guitars, keyboard, the whole thing.
And he basically had to find a band, right?
Yeah, he had to bring. He got Brad Delp to sing, who's an amazing vocalist. It was a huge find for him. But then he had to, when the songs came out, he had to put a band together. That's essentially what it is off the top of my head. But it's an interesting peek into that. But he's something else. He was Boston. 74 years old today, Tom Schultz. Jeff Ament of Pearl Jam turns 58 years old today. Wow.
I saw a photo from, remember MTV Jock Jams, and they would have these basketball tournaments in the early 90s. So it was him, Reggie Miller, a whole bunch of stars from 92, and a young and very skinny Leo DiCaprio was on Jeff Ament's team, and there's a photo of the two of them together. It's pretty funny because Pearl Jam was ascending and we're superstars at that point, and Leo was, a second star on Growing
probably
Pains.
Basketball Diaries.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Well, a very chubby Preston Elliott got to play basketball against Jeff Ament one time.
Did you really?
Over here at PCOM?
Well, it was with Matt. Matt Cord set it up, and we played. I thought it was.
Well, Matt did it a few times because I played in one as well at Villanova with Kyle Korver.
Yeah.
Were you a part of one with Kyle? Because Kyle was kind of friendly with Jeff as well. But
I don't remember.
Are you in this picture with Ian Ziering?
No, but Leo is, and Joey Lawrence.
Yeah. Hey, Boyz II Men is in it as well. That's cool.
And Jeff Ament's in the bottom right in that photo. But yeah, Jeff's a huge basketball fan, and he and Matt Cord have developed a friendship because of Matt's work with the Sixers, and Matt will help him find courts to play on whenever Pearl Jam's in town.
How about that?
He's 58 today. Rick Rubin, the incredibly famous and successful producer. Everything from these guys, Beastie Boys to Public Enemy, Slayer, Slipknot, Dixie Chicks, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Audio Slave, Johnny Cash, Metallica.
And eccentric. Really eccentric is the word.
He's an odd dude. He is 58 years old today. I still have a few more to go, so I'm going to skip right to him. Paul Haggis, a screenwriter and producer. The guy also that was instrumental in that Going Clear documentary about Scientology.
Yep.
He is 68 today, but he was behind Crash, Terminator Salvation, Casino Royale, $1 Million Baby, a lot, very, very successful. And he was deep into Scientology until he realized, oh my God, this is insane.
Right.
So he's 68. John Hamm of Mad Men is 50 years old today, so a big birthday to him. I thought he was older than that.
I thought he was older.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
And then the last birthday is Olivia Wilde. Stunningly beautiful, 37 years old. And who's she hanging out with?
Harry Styles.
Harry Styles, yeah.
Styles, that's it. You're right. And Jason Sudeikis.
Left him in the rear.
Yeah, and all he has is a page 3 girl now.
That's it. He cries into his page 3 girl.
And he's winning awards for Ted Lasso.
Right, and he's a multimillionaire.
Poor guy.
She's 37. All right, let's see if we can get an answer to the stupid question this morning. The quid is a British slang term for what currency? 215-263 WMMR, the number. I will go to Marty for the answer. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning, Ed.
All right, good morning, Marty. What's quid a slang for?
That would be a pound.
Yes,
Preston.
British pound. You got it, buddy. Hang on. And we're going to give you a digital download of the comedic action thriller Pixie, starring Olivia Cook and Paul Meany and Alec Baldwin. Pixie Hardy is on a path to avenge her mother's death and attempts a heist that will allow her to leave her small-town life behind. Own it now on digital and on demand. It's rated R, and it is from Paramount Pictures. All right, we mentioned briefly the Oprah discussion with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The royal family's trying to carry on amid backlash over the allegations of racism. In that interview, the pair shared a series of disturbing stories during that sit, a recording of which aired Sunday in the U.S. and Monday in the U.K. Stories of Meghan being refused mental help despite her suicidal ideation, and members of the royal family being concerned about how dark Meghan and Harry's son's Archie's skin would be have rocked the world. And on Tuesday, Prince Charles was the first member of the firm, they call it, to emerge in public since the interview. The 72-year-old was asked what he thought of the interview, in which Harry expressed sadness over their estrangement while visiting an NHS vaccination center in London. Charles was reportedly seen nervously chuckling and continued walking at the official engagement, ignoring the question. The Queen, Charles, and Prince William, meanwhile, are reportedly locked in crisis talks over the interview. The Queen reportedly refused to sign off on a statement, but then finally issued one on Tuesday. She said the whole family is saddened over issues raised, particularly that of race, although recollections may vary. Harry, Meghan, and Archie will always be much-loved family members, the Queen had added.
I thought that was a fine release at this point while they're looking into whatever's going on. Sure. That was enough.
Meghan's estranged father, Thomas, has always spoken out after the interview in which she slammed his decision to work with tabloids. He called Harry snotty, and he said, we all make mistakes, but I've never played naked pool, and I've never dressed up like Hitler, he said, referring to infamous nude pictures of Harry taken in Las Vegas in 2012, as well as the time he was photographed wearing a Nazi uniform 7 years earlier.
You remember when Harry was sort of the Charlie Sheen of the royal family?
Yeah. And I think we have a clip of Thomas Markle talking about Meghan's mental health state.
Yeah, there are two of them. So the first is the saying that the family was there for her, but she never took advantage of it.
Had I known she was having psychological problems, I would have been there for her. Biggest problem here is she's pretty much ghosted all of her family, on her mother's side and my side. So she really had no one to reach out to. She would have had us if she kept us.
All right. And then the other one is racism in the palace?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
The thing about what color will the baby be or how dark will the baby be, I'm guessing and hoping it's just a dumb question from somebody. It could just be that simple. It could be somebody asked a stupid question rather than being a total racist.
Was his voice always kind of shaky like that?
He sounds Boris. No, I've heard him before this, and I think he sounds like he's in ill health.
Okay.
I can't imagine why.
All right. And also, stemming off of that, TV host Piers Morgan is calling it quits hours after storming off of Good Morning Britain set over his co-star's confrontation of his criticism of Meghan Markle. They said in a statement on Good Morning Britain, following discussions with ITV, Piers Morgan has decided now is the time to leave, and ITV has accepted this decision and has nothing further to add. And we have a clip of him.
The point at which the storming occurs.
Yes, here we go.
And I understand that you don't like Meghan Markle. You've made it so clear a number of times on this program. And I understand that you've got a personal relationship with Meghan Markle, or had one, and she cut you off. she's entitled to cut you off. Has she said anything about you since she cut you off? I don't think she has, but yet you continue to trash her.
Okay, I'm done with this.
No.
Sorry, no. Sorry.
So, do you know what? That's pathetic.
You can trash me, maybe not mine.
No.
See you later.
I'm being...
Sorry, can't do this.
This is absolutely diabolical behaviour.
So he is
diabolical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he got up, walked out, and couldn't take it.
That was the weatherman giving it to him. Yeah, that's the weather guy.
Yep. All right. So touching on this as well, Gloria Allred is accusing Buckingham Palace of using Meghan Markle to distract the public from allegations of abuse against Prince Andrew. The lawyer for victims who accused the late Jeffrey Epstein pal of complicity in human trafficking says the palace is issuing public statements Meghan's alleged bullying to divert attention from the real problem. Allred said allegations about him are far worse than the allegations about Meghan Markle. Prince Andrew was a working royal when he became a friend of Jeffrey Epstein, who was a sexual predator. Prince Andrew is now accused of much more than bullying or harassment in the workplace. She does not represent the woman, Virginia Giffrey, who has made the allegations against the prince, but is acting for 20 women who say that they were victims of the disgraced financier.
If I was Prince Andrew, I'd be writing this like crazy. I saw the queen with the donkey.
Right, exactly.
Oh, it's disgusting. Look over there.
Leading up to this thing, I didn't realize how many ripples and waves that this thing was going to cause all across the world. I really didn't. And I was actually watching something else. I think I was watching the Flyers game. Right. And then it was in between periods. I'm like, all right, let me just flip this thing over and see what's going on. And then I was like, oh, wow, this is juicy, you know? Right. And so I was getting into it.
There were squirts of juice amidst a lot of nothing. But what's because it was 2 hours.
Yeah, I know.
You know, where they finally got to what they needed to get to.
And I think I had skipped the first boring part, and I got it right into the juicy part.
Right. Yeah.
I have a friend of mine who was from England, and leading up to this, she hates the monarchy. Like, she can't stand it. She doesn't give two rat's asses about the king, the queen, the princes, the princesses, nothing, right? But she watched this, and she's like, oh, I hate Meghan Markle.
Well, there's a poll. This is interesting. So I think it's the Daily Mail has done it, and the general consensus is coming down against Meghan Markle and Harry.
That's in the UK.
Yeah.
In the US, it's different the other way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but we don't. Pretty wild.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I really don't want to have an opinion on anything. Like,
my opinion didn't shift. As I said before, when it first aired, it's like I still think the same about them, and I still think the same about the monarchy.
Yeah.
We're moving on to something else. On Tuesday, actress Chloe Sevigny revealed that she secretly married boyfriend Sinisa Makovich at City Hall in New York City in March of last year. The 46-year-old married her art gallerist beau 2 months before welcoming their son Vanja.
I'm sorry, I would never marry my art gallerist. That's the advice you get when you're a young man. Didn't your parents tell you, always, don't marry your art gallerist?
Yeah, and we'll see if she's bucking the system, man.
First thing you learn, don't eat where you crap. Yeah, and don't marry your art gallerist.
Married on Monday, March 9th, 2020. Happy one-year anniversary, my love. She had captioned a photo of the newly-wed couple. The famously chic and fashion-forward American Horror Story star wore a full-sleeve black turtleneck, a black skirt, black boots, and black leggings.
Could you even see her?
That's a good question.
Like a ninja.
It's like Black Noir for the boys. In an interview with W last summer, Sevigny had referred to her husband as the father of my child, baby daddy, boyfriend, fiance, and all of the above. Now, she joins a long list of celebs who have actually kept their weddings under wraps, including Joe Jonas and Sophie Turner, Nicolas Cage, and the gal he recently married, Riko Shibata, Kristen Wiig and Avi Rothman, Scarlett Johansson and Colin Jost,
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle,
John Cena and she has a really long last name and I'm not sure how to pronounce, and Dennis Quaid and Laura Savoy. So they have all gotten married without big fanfare, just went out and did it, and they seem to be happy.
As much as the scrutiny is always ratcheted up on all of these celebrities, during the past year or so, it's been harder to... You know, if they wanted to, they could sort of be a little bit more secretive because of restrictions.
Yep.
I guess that's what happened.
Appearing virtually on the Ellen DeGeneres Show on Tuesday, 45-year-old Jesse Tyler Ferguson opened up about his son, Beckett Mercer, whom he shares with husband Justin Makita. Asked by Ellen DeGeneres if he sings to Beckett, Ferguson confirmed, explaining it's a lot of show tunes because that's what we like. So we're raising him gay until he decides he's straight. So he was having some fun with that.
There's a talk, apparently, of a Mitch and Cam spinoff.
Really?
Which I would love.
Yeah.
They were such a major part of that show.
That would be great. I'd be all over that.
What I have found as a father raising children and playing music for them, you can't raise them gay. You can't raise them straight. They are what they are. The music they're going to.
Joking.
I know that. I know that. But like for anybody out there listening, going, oh,
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
The kids are going to like what they're going to like, music-wise, and and I know that because I got 3 kids, and they all gravitated to 3 different types of music.
And how disappointing is it when you have a piece of music that is important to you, and you're hoping it's going to connect, and they don't even make it 30 seconds into the song before they're checking their phone or whatever else, and they're completely out, and I'm like, oh man, it didn't
Live in my
take.
world. 9 cats. None of them love Genesis.
Not one.
Yeah.
Not one?
No,
What about the dog?
I made an attempt with Rush a couple of times. It ain't going anywhere.
But you know what? Listen, it might take a little while, right? So
no, I can already tell by their sensibilities. Now listen, I've got Beatles fans and AC/DC and Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh, you've got nothing to complain
some other
about.
really good ones.
All right.
So I'm thankful for that.
You've got some good cultivation that's taken place there, and you didn't force it that much.
Right.
I mean, you forced it a lot.
So my theater and musical lover is gravitating towards some other things that surprised me. So she's getting into David Bowie. I was like,
Yeah, you were telling me about
kind of
that.
cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
All right, I have a handful of other stories to get to. And Steve, this focuses on a guy we've become fans of because of Servant, Rupert Grint.
Yes, he's fan-freaking-tastic on that show.
Shared insight into his Harry Potter journey. He was on Dax Shepard's podcast. He said that filming the blockbuster wasn't always as dreamy as it seemed. He said there was a time where it felt quite suffocating. Because it was heavy going, because it was every day for, I think, 10 years in the end. Sometimes it definitely felt like, I want to do something else. I want to see what else is out there.
I'm going to do another Harry Potter movie.
And he said it never ended.
Yeah.
Every year we came back, and it was kind of like Groundhog Day, the same sets and the same people. He is so great on the show Servant, and I'm proud of the guy because of that core cast of the 3. He was kind of the least that looking at that going, nah, he's probably not
I hope
gonna
he
have
has
a big
something.
career.
Yeah. And he is what he does have, and which I really love, is that you are drawn to watch him. He's got that thing when he's on. He's doing little throw-offs that are like little gestures and shrugs and eye things that really make him compelling to watch. He's also a character that you, no matter what he does that's wrong, you can't help but like him.
Yeah, agreed. The Framing Britney Spears documentary got a lot of attention. The hashtag Free Britney calls.
Did you watch it?
No.
Yeah.
Calls for the singer to be removed from the conservatorship under the control of her father, Jamie. Now it's led 2 congressmen to call for House hearings to be held on conservatorships, and even suggesting that Britney herself should testify. Representative Matt Gaetz of Florida announced yesterday that he and Rep. Jim Jordan of Ohio have called on the House Judiciary Committee to hold a hearing about unjust conservatorships.
So I watched another special about conservatorships in particular, because they go through the process at the beginning of the documentary, Preston, trying to explain exactly the what it is and the power and the sway that this can have. And at a certain point with Britney Spears, the lawyers who were handling the conservatorship were treating it as if Britney was a business partner. And that's not a conservatorship. That's not, in other words, like wanting to have an active say in what job she took and so on and so forth. And they make a case that there are people who are fully controlling their own futures and financial interests who are off the deep end. Mm-hmm. And, so Britney does not fall in that category. She may have some issues, but this stuff has been surrendered away from her. So that was the issue. That's the big thing that was kicked up by this documentary.
It's a little bit scary. And then there's that movie. Okay.
Yeah, with Rosamund Pike, I Care a Lot. It takes that to another level.
Right.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
And I don't know, 'cause that's a drama, right? So I don't know how much of that is actually true.
It is, Casey. I read a brief thing about that. It's based off of now listen, they take it into a really deep direction.
Right.
There are multiple
but
stories.
It's lightly based on somebody who was taking advantage of people like that.
Oh my God.
There have been a number. It takes place in a nursing home, correct? Yeah. So that's
several of them.
That's an issue. But you look at like Amanda Bynes has the same thing. Isn't her father her conservator?
Yeah, and
I don't know.
Well, I mean, but she was having some major
issues. Yeah,
major issues. But again, we're all. We're being fed these stories, so I don't know how much of that's... Yeah.
So anyway, they're looking to maybe try to get some legal clout behind.
Interesting.
Conservatorships keying off of that.
Maybe Britney becomes a senator.
Hey, Lady Gaga is giving us a winter wonderland glimpse of the feature film House of Gucci that she's starring in alongside Adam Driver. It's actually an interesting sounding film. The Oscar-winning singer and Oscar-nominated actor bundled up for a cozy first look at that Gaga shared on her socials on Tuesday. She wrote, Signor e Signora Gucci.
I always thought it was Gucky.
It's not Gucky, it's Gucci. Gaga and Driver play Patrizia Reggiani and Maurizio Gucci, respectively, in the Ridley Scott-directed biographical crime film, which tells the story of how Reggiani was tried and convicted of organizing the assassination of her ex-husband and former head of the Gucci fashion house. It's based on a book called The House of Gucci, a sensational story of murder, madness, glamour, and greed.
Why do I think Lady Gaga is going to be very good in this?
I think she is, and I think she's just getting started. Man, joining the all-star cast is Al Pacino as Aldo Gucci, Jared Leto as Paolo Gucci, Jeremy Irons as Rodolfo Gucci, and Camille Cotton as Gitch. No, as Paola Franchi.
Gitchy Gucci.
Franchi. And filming began in Rome in February. The singer's latest acting gig serves as a follow-up to her feature film debut in A Star is Born 2018. Of course, she won an Oscar for Best Original Song and got a nod for Best Actress. Driver, on the other hand, was nominated for Best Actor at the 2020 Academy Awards for his role on Marriage Story.
She's written a song for this movie, Preston, called Shiloh, which is
shallow.
It's got one fan already. I'd like to pose a question to the ladies of the Preston and Steve show.
Okay.
And Casey.
Yes.
Is Adam Driver attractive?
What do you think, Kathy?
I'm not for me.
Marissa?
I mean, I don't think he's unattractive. He's not like on my list.
Not for Marissa either.
Can I chime in, Nick?
Yes.
But he's
I
handsome.
want to eat his sack.
Oh, my God.
That's the answer I was looking for.
What are you talking about?
there are women who find him crazy hot.
Yeah, I think it's because he's on
it's those big
TV.
features. But people like, there are women that like the big features on a man.
Right.
Yeah, I don't...
Adrian Brody with the big nose.
Yep, totally.
And,
The assumption is that means Big Johnson, right?
Does it? I don't
Big
know.
Nose.
Well, I don't know. I don't think that is the only reason that women associate that, but I think they're just attracted to, larger features here and there.
He's definitely unique looking. I mean,
other than ears. Ears is just...
He's got big ears, too, though. That's the thing.
Does he?
Yeah, that's big
Oh,
features.
yeah, you're right. Okay, never
they're
mind.
Covered by his long hair. And I say... If you saw this guy at a bar and you were single and he was not Adam Driver of the movies, he was not Kylo Ren or whatever, and he asked you if he could buy you a drink, you'd probably say no.
No, not necessarily, because it's the way he presents himself. He also presents himself very well. So someone like that is going to get a girl to say, yep, I'll
He's
take the drink.
self-confident.
It's like what I see in Catherine Hahn.
Yeah.
Okay, Casey, you know that. Catherine is not a classic beauty, but there's something about Kathy, her confidence, the way she presents herself. She's got big features, too. She's got a big nose and everything. She's got a big mouth. I find her attractive.
Her confidence.
There's something
Give
about
me confidence.
that I find hot. Yeah. So, but listen, it's all personal preference. Who knows? But yes, he's definitely got his fans. All right, I have some other things. 2 more, maybe 3. Let's get to this one. Steven Spielberg has found his next directing project as the filmmaker will direct an untitled coming-of-age film that is loosely based on his childhood growing up in Arizona. Four-time Oscar nominee Michelle Williams is in talks to star in the project in a major role inspired by the filmmaker's mother.
Oh, okay. I thought she was going to play young Steven Spielberg, and that would be very bad casting.
Although plot details are being kept under wraps, Spielberg co-wrote the script with frequent collaborator Tony Kushner, who most recently wrote West Side Story along with Munich and Lincoln. Screen tests are currently underway with young actors to fill the role inspired by a young Spielberg.
I'd like to see him reshoot Munich, but have one of the Mossad agents be Lincoln. Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be an interesting
I'll
time.
rescue them.
The untitled film is eyeing a summer production start with a release date planned for sometime in 2022. And I got to thank Marissa for tipping me off on this story because it keys off of a bizarre file story that I had, I think, last week.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Banks has found her next directorial project with a bear-centric thriller. Universal is behind Cocaine Bear, which is based on an untitled spec inspired by events that took place in Kentucky in 1985. I gave you guys the full history of that story.
It was the entire Bizarre File, I think, and it was well worth it because it's just mind-blowing.
The true story, as reported in 1985 by the New York Times, was that a 170-pound black bear consumed the contents of a duffel bag filled with more than 70 pounds of cocaine that was dropped from an airplane by a local drug smuggler, Andrew Thornton. The bear was later found dead of an apparent drug overdose. The exact plot details for the film, which is eyeing summer shoot date, are being kept under wraps. Banks was last behind the camera on Sony's Charlie's Angels reboot, starring Kristen Stewart. Her other feature directing credit was Universal franchise film Pitch Perfect 2, which she did a great job at, I thought. All right, and then we'll do one more story, and then we will wrap this up. Peacock has given a series order to Da Vinci Code follow-up series Dan Brown's Langdon. Originally developed as a pilot for NBC, the series stars Succession's Ashley Zuckerman as Robert Langdon. That's the character. That's my Siri.
What's happening there?
Siri.
What's happening?
I didn't even say your name. As Robert Langdon, the character previously...
sound coming from?
Previously played by Tom Hanks in the big screen adaptations of author Dan Brown's novel series.
What'd you think of the Da Vinci Code movies or the two films?
I thought they were pretty good.
Yeah.
The books were outstanding. Yeah.
People devoured those books.
Yeah, and I don't hate the movies, but they could have been a little bit better, I thought.
I was distracted by Tom Hanks' hair.
Yeah, it throws you off a little bit. Yeah. Based on Brown's The Lost Symbol, which I did not read. Nick, did you read that?
No, I read the first two books.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, although I think I read them out of order. I think I read Da Vinci Code first.
Have you seen the amalgamation now that it's Paramount Plus?
Yeah.
So, you know, CBS All Access was absorbed into Paramount Plus.
Did they change it on
yeah. So the icon popped up.
Okay, no, I haven't seen that yet.
It's like, when could you possibly... Now, Preston, they have the original Real World on it.
Right.
Yeah. When would you possibly... I mean, it's just so much to watch now.
Yeah.
So much.
But there
it's
are
too much.
I mean, but shows like there are people who just need to have something on the TV that they don't necessarily are going to get invested in, and so shows like that. I know from my friend, she's just like, I just need something like that in the background as I like.
Yeah, if I need something on in the background, I surf cable. I can't go on and pick something out and go, this is going to be background noise. I just can't do that. It doesn't work for me. If I'm going to take the time to search through and find that thing and start it from the beginning, I'm going to watch it.
I'm with you on that.
Background news, so 24-hour news and or home shopping channel.
I can't do. See, my wife would do home shopping channel. I can't do it.
The home and garden ones.
Home and garden.
Or
Any of that
easy,
stuff.
easy for me to go to.
If I'm hearing something, but I'm not paying attention.
News is for me, like all the time. That is that's like supposed to be background.
Right.
It needs to be something I've watched 1,000 times, and that way I'm not like, oh, I wonder what that looks like.
All right, let's get to the clips, gang. A group of high school students explore their sexuality in the modern world in the new HBO Max series Generation. And here, star Nathania Alexander explains how she and her co-stars got through shooting emotional scenes.
We were constantly checking in with each other, like, you know, I'm there for you. And just like being able to trust each other with all of those vulnerable scenes and emotional scenes.
Come on, squeal.
Yeah, no. Generation appears tomorrow on HBO Max. Here's the next clip. The father stars Anthony Hopkins as a family patriarch who is suffering from dementia but refuses care from his loved ones and begins to doubt reality. Wow. In this clip, Olivia Colman discusses how the condition is brought to life on film.
It was amazing when it was Anthony, the character Anthony's apartment, and we were all going around going, oh, that's nice, love that, and then within a couple of days it was, it's the same but it's a slightly different colour, and there's different, they've done that. The whole piece is so brilliantly done like that you get to experience it from the point of view of the person that's suffering.
What? If you follow Anthony Hopkins on social media, he is wonderful. Like there was
dancing
and all that stuff. Yeah,
we just got
Hannibal
this movie.
freaking Lecter.
This movie just showed up, at least in my mailbox this week for SAG-AFTRA, and I didn't know anything about it. And I guess I'll watch it because I like both of them very much, but I'll probably only watch it once.
Heavy subject, but yeah, that you can't beat Olivia Colman and Anthony Hopkins together.
They're calling it the unofficial Pitch Perfect 3.
Wow.
But there was already a Pitch Perfect 3.
That's why this one's unofficial.
Unofficial. Okay.
The Father opens in theaters this Friday, and there you go, your entertainment report for this morning. What?
Can I admit something to you guys? I watched Pitch Perfect on Sunday. Just
the original?
The original, the first one.
Yeah.
And I got choked up at the end, man. I don't know what it is
You
about
always
that.
get choked up
I know. I know. And then on the ride home, I was driving home from the shore, and I listened to the song from Hairspray, You Can't Stop the Beat. It's the finale song.
You got choked up in that?
I got choked up at that one. Something's wrong with me, bro.
Yeah.
Maybe in a good way. I don't know.
If we have any therapists that can call right now, we can have a little chat with Casey, and we can figure it all out here on the air. All right, listen, we got to take a break. We're going to come back in a moment. We have Mr. Skin on the show this morning. We're going live on Fox Good Day. John Polaris is getting in touch with us because
Yes.
The home run package at Bates Motel Escape Room Facility in Westchester. And it's a chance for you to just go in and go crazy for a while. The rage rooms are pretty wild. I've done it before. Nick, you've done it before at the Flyers game.
They're fun. They are tiring.
They're tiring.
They wear you out.
When you're like, man, 10 minutes, you know, whatever you're looking at. Yes, you will be exhausted in a short amount of time, but it's a lot of fun. So text word secret to 39333. We're going to see if you win a little later on. We also have our friends from Portofino Tuna, the Tuna Lady. Yay! Here this morning, and we're going to do some giveaways in a little bit. Hang tight because it's not too far off, but Primo's Hoagies are stopping in, dropping off some food, and what makes Primo's Hoagies, tuna hoagies so amazing? Well, they're made with Portofino Italian-style canned tuna and extra virgin olive oil, and it's what gives the tuna a unique, mellow flavor, tender texture, and rich taste.
Portofino, Italy was probably one of the most beautiful places that I visited.
That's why you became the tuna lady. You said you turned to Dennis. I think you said
well,
you
the
were
fields of wild
the sun
tuna
was setting.
running out there.
Dennis, I want to become the tuna lady.
I just said, I mean, how could I not? It's so connected.
Well, I support you in that.
So occasionally we get a handful of stories that are Philadelphia-centric, and that means it's time for the City Beat.
City Beat!
That's right. We don't do this that often.
Scoobly wow wow.
Yeah.
Time to take a stroll down the street with our man about town.
Through the alleyways.
And the byways and the highways.
The avenues.
Conduits.
All of it.
The mountainsides.
The mountainsides.
The fjords. Maybe I overshot my bounds.
All right, so we're actually going to have this guy on the show Monday morning, but I wanted to go ahead and talk about it because the story came out, it was in the Enquirer. Stephanie Farr is a reporter who got this out. Marissa said she was excited that we're going to have this guy on. His name is Tom Garvey, and so he's written a book, and apparently for 2 years, he lived in a self-made apartment inside a Veterans Stadium.
Yeah.
He lived there for 2 years.
That's pretty wild.
He's now 78 years old. He had secretly refurbished an empty concession stand inside the former home of the Phillies and Eagles. He told the Enquirer, I was like a kid with a Willy Wonka golden ticket. Garvey details his experiences taking non-baseball hits in the dugout, halftime parties, and run-ins with Philly sports legends like Tug McGraw and Julius Erving in his 188-page book, which is called The Secret Apartment Vet Stadium, a surreal memoir. It was published in December. And he said he worked at the stadium complex parking lots through a company owned by his uncles. And through that job, Leonard received an office at the vet and keys to an obscure entrance to the stadium. So one that was a small little out-of-the-way entrance.
Not well known.
Mm-hmm.
And that is kind of cool.
Yeah.
He said that the day that he remembers the most is when he woke up and they were demolishing the place.
Oh, really? No. Across from his office out in left field was an unused 60-foot by 30-foot concession stand, and he tricked it out with all the comforts he could. He had a bed, a sink, fridge, coffee maker, and a hot plate.
60 by 30 is not bad.
It's not bad at all.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a
decent-sized room.
That's a big-ass room, actually. Leftover AstroTurf made for a good carpet. Parties were a hit, including with the wives of Eagles players who were waiting for their husbands.
It's too much.
He kept this going for 2 years. Now, what I don't know, what I'm interested to find out about him is that if that was his home,
his main residence,
if that is where he called home or not, or if this was just a place that he could stay for the night here and there and do that type of thing. He said we'd put music on the stereo and have a drink. Talking about the wives of the Eagles players. He said the husbands would join their wives and have a beer, and then the lot traffic would pull out, and we'd get in their cars and go have dinner.
That's cool. Yeah, I want to find out how much of his actual living was done there when we talked to him, because that's pretty wild. Because once you assume that when the facility is opened up, now he had access in general to this room. Did he have access past the initial security gates and things of that nature?
Well, we're gonna find out on Monday.
Yeah, because all right. So he had the kitchen stuff, but where did he shower? And
if he lived there, if he did indeed live there, I don't know, or maybe he used the locker rooms. I don't. He could sneak down there at night. But wouldn't there be
security?
Security.
Yeah, wouldn't there be cameras?
At least one person. I doubt cameras at that time. because I think this was in the 1980s. In fact, his apartment came to an end in 1981, so this would have been pre, having security cameras.
They would have closed circuit, but they may not have like VCR or stuff like that.
But anyhow, I would imagine at least one guy walking around with a flashlight might be, on duty at the vet. I don't know, but he was also careful about his secret digs. He never talked about it or allowed photos, though the Enquirer corroborated his story with multiple people. Not that there weren't clues that he was getting a little too comfy with the confines of Veterans Stadium. A Phillies doubleheader extended late into the night by rain made for a puzzling scene for remaining fans. He said there were less than 200 people scattered around. They didn't want to know why I was there in a bathrobe and flip-flops. They just wanted to know where I got a hot cup of coffee because the concession stands had closed hours ago.
That's funny.
That's great.
If you had the opportunity, like if you could set up a similar scenario, what venue, what building?
Where would I want to be?
Yeah.
In our city?
Yeah.
Probably the Wells Fargo Center. I guess.
I think that's the same for me because you have it all. You have sports, you have concerts, you have the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's indoors. It's
indoors.
100% indoors.
Yeah.
So, if you were at the link, obviously you have more space, but you're... Well, listen, they have indoor areas of the, I don't know, man. Maybe I would go with the link.
Would you?
Maybe.
All right.
Have you explored the link, like every level of it?
No.
I have not either. I knew the vet pretty well. I certainly knew the Spectrum because I went there probably the most growing up. And, we're lucky enough in our industry to sort of get backstage tours or, something. Casey, you and Preston and I all worked in the Spectrum with the Phantoms. And so you have to go through the bowels and whatever to get to where you're going to go. The Spectrum was relatively simple. The Wells Fargo Center and the link are complicated. There are rooms everywhere. There are ante-rooms and side hallways and whatever. And so you can get lost in those buildings really quickly.
Yeah, when I was a kid and we would go in St. Louis, we'd go to Cardinals games. Sometimes I wouldn't care about the game, and me and a buddy of mine would just go run around the stadium.
This is at Busch?
It was at Busch Stadium, and it was a lot like the Vet. It was your standard, stadium like that. Real easy ramps up and down, and nothing complicated at all. And we used to just go wander around for hours.
Yeah.
But it's a different story.
It is.
With all the levels and sub-level kinds of elevators that are all around in these newer venues.
Oh, yeah. Well, during the Camp Out for Hunger for at least a brief period, I would go over to the Wells Fargo, and they were kind enough to let me work out in a secondary facility.
Did you like that?
I loved it.
Okay.
But the guy took me there the first time, and I'm like, I felt like I was going to soon be introduced to the sorting hat because I'm like, where are we? There would be no way. And I said, you are going to come get me, right? Because I don't know how to find my way out of here.
The Spectrum was a bit of a weird building. So I used to, work with the Phantoms. And so we were all around that building. I was in the roving MC. You guys have done that too. And so we went in all areas of that entire building. And the Spectrum was weird because it was like a split level.
Yeah.
Like you had these, everybody went into the same, to get into the venue, went through the same entrances, and you went either up or down. And then the back halls were kind of weird and
narrow
ramps and narrow and
gross building.
I hated the Spectrum.
Did you?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, I love.
There were limited view seats and stuff like that. It was an odd building.
It was cool though. I remember with the Dane Cook show when we
in the round.
Yeah, in the round we did that, and then also what was
cool.
the thing? Do you guys remember? Was it the Terror on Broad or whatever it was?
Yes.
That's where we did that and got to, at least we were bringing listeners and got to go backstage in a lot of the areas of the Spectrum. And it was simple, but it was so cool.
Yeah, Kathy, it was outdated, but I didn't find it gross. I found the Vet to be disgusting, and I liked going there. I went there a lot growing up, but I liked the Spectrum because it was loud and intimate. But Casey, you and I have talked a few times about like going to a concert at the Spectrum and having to go to the bathroom and waiting in those lines. And there were just not that many bathrooms at the Spectrum. Like and everybody would go at the same time. It was difficult.
And the women's line was ridiculous.
It was insane.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
I remember that every time, at any time.
Do you think the Spectrum was one of the places that started the women using the guys' bathrooms?
No, I think it was the Vet.
The Vet?
Yeah, definitely. Well, So, but going to all of those sporting events, I know how to use the bathroom, like at places
You're
like
a big
those.
boy.
Yeah, I am a big boy, and I can do big boy potties. No, but like you don't go to the bathroom at the end of a quarter or at halftime.
No, of course not. You got to be bite the bullet and go when if the play is getting hot and you really want to go, you go. You're right.
Yeah.
I don't know how people still don't know that.
I forgot where I was. It might have been at the vet, but a guy had come in to the bathroom through the exit where the line was going out through the entrance. And I remember, and everybody kind of side-eyed him, and one guy goes, he let him know. He's like, we would all appreciate it if you went out and stood in line.
Yeah.
I think all of us here would appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
When we were at the vet in, God, it was the late 80s. I'm sorry, late 90s. Me and my buddy, the bathroom was so packed. There was a utility closet. And he and I went into the utility closet because there was a utility sink, and we started peeing in the utility sink. But I was kind of, if you open the door, you didn't see me anymore. I was hidden by the door, and the security guard came and opened the door and started giving my friend a whole bunch of crap, and he got in trouble, but he couldn't see me because I was behind the door, and I didn't get in trouble at all. He almost got kicked out of the stadium.
Was it for a Phil's game?
Yeah, it was Eagles game.
Okay.
So if he would have dragged him out of there, you would have just stayed hidden behind the door?
Oh, no. I did stay hidden behind the door. The guy had no clue.
Did he drag him out? If he would have taken it to the next level.
Oh, and kicked him out of the
stadium? You got
stadium?
yelled at. You didn't get in trouble. If they would have busted you and kicked you out. So, but would you think you would have hidden behind the door if you would have dragged your friend out?
Yeah.
And your buddy would have let you stay?
He did. I mean, that's what. Listen, he didn't get kicked out of the stadium. He got berated and yelled at. He didn't see me at all.
I know.
Yeah, and so he didn't die. But do you think he would have dined me out?
No, what I'm asking, if the security, I can't believe we've gone this long.
I know.
That if he would have dragged the guy out of the closet, did he take the guy out of the closet? Did he demand to get out of there?
Yeah.
And you stayed
And
in
I
there?
just stayed there.
All right, that's what I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what level was the bathroom?
700 level.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I had a question about the 700 level bathrooms at the vet. Correct me if my memory is off on this, but were their ceilings lower and were they just generally smaller bathrooms on the 700 level? Am I remembering that incorrectly? I remember walking in and feeling like I was a giant.
At the vet?
At the vet. Upstairs, all the way upstairs, Steve. 700 level. They just seemed like smaller ceilings, shorter ceilings than
I was to the vet
other ones.
just once in my life. And
That's it?
because we came down from New York on a field trip in 4th grade to see a game with the Phillies.
A Phil's Mets game?
Yeah.
Okay.
And my 4th grade teacher was a huge Philadelphia fan.
There were probably just as many Mets fans there.
By the way, how is that a field trip?
I don't know.
How is that? What?
Somebody had pull.
Yeah.
But
Mr. Harris.
It's a history
He must
trip.
have been sleeping with somebody in the front office.
Here's a text from him. He says, years ago I saw a woman pee in a sink in the men's room.
At the vet?
I don't know.
I believe it.
Yeah.
But I guess you'd have to... you'd have to sit on the sink if you're a woman, right?
Yeah.
Get up there and drop your drawers.
Normal rules of society really disappeared once you walked in.
It's like Step Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the urinal. I love it. Stay golden, pony boy.
So here's in the Goldbergs, when they did the vet episode, I don't ever recall peeing into a trough. I don't think so. Okay.
So there was no trough. Did you see the episode, Preston?
I saw a clip of it.
Yeah, he gets lost and he ends up he goes into the bathroom and he's pee shy and he can't do the trough. But you're saying the trough situation never existed?
I don't think so. I remember them at Wrigley Field in Chicago. They might even still be there at Wrigley. But the vet was modern enough because it was built in like 70 or 71 or something like that I don't remember troughs.
All right, I don't know where I was, if I'm even making this up, but I feel like it's a memory that I have of peeing in a trough that was circular. So you were peeing.
Yeah.
Penn Station.
Okay, where was that?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
Did you ever go to Penn Station?
I had been to Penn Station.
Because Penn Station was legendary. I talked about this on this very show. Is when I was a kid. There was a circular trough, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah. I want to look at some other dude's dong across the, but that's what it was. Yeah.
Okay. So that was all right.
Yeah, I've seen those before, and it's odd when you're having eye contact with someone while you're urinating.
Yeah, you can stare at a wall, but when you're just they're pairing you off like it's on a speed dating.
Yeah. So, Preston, this text explains my memory of the vet.
Oh, okay. It says, hey Nick, 700 level bathroom ceilings. Followed the slope of the seats above you. There was a urinal right down at the bottom that only this little kid's
Only the little kids.
Only little kids could fit in way back in the day.
Yeah, so the seats would angle above where the ceiling of the bathroom was. So the farther back in the bathroom you went, the lower the ceiling in the bathroom.
What was it, like an M.C. Escher painting?
Honestly,
engineering-wise,
Oh my
like,
God.
whatever people got to pee, they'll deal with
Preston,
it.
it's like one of those rooms that are painted so that you look like you're getting bigger as you're walking.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Dude, those buildings, it was like the bathrooms were an afterthought. It's like, oh, crap, people have to go to the bathroom.
Right. I guess we'll put one in here.
Yeah. There's a random spot down here in the Spectrum.
Oh, there were troughs in JFK Stadium, according to some of the texts that have come
I've
in.
never been to JFK, but I think maybe Franklin Field.
JFK was terrible. It had, you could fit 100,000 people in there. I went to one event there, and it was all I forget what the term for the seating is, but there were no levels, so it was just the seats would move away from the field, up and out, and you could be up at the top and be like a mile and a half away from the field.
I heard people would describe so if you come in at the lower level and walked up to the higher seats at JFK, that you would basically climb Kilimanjaro.
Yeah. Were they seats or were they benches like in collegiate?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of benches. And I mean, if you thought the bathrooms in the vet were bad, the bathrooms in JFK were like ancient Rome.
Privies.
Yeah.
All right, hang on a second. Here's a text that came in. This is from Tom's son, the guy we're talking about. Oh, okay. Well, did he text in, Marissa? Or hang on a second. What's that?
So Judd is actually one of the people who helped arrange our interview on Monday, and he said that he's listening right now, and if you want to read what he wrote.
It says, I'm listening live from Baltimore. Yes, he lived there full time.
Wow.
Even received mail there. He showered in the locker rooms.
God bless him, man.
If you're just tuning in, this guy we're talking about, Tom Garvey, lived in Veterans Stadium. It was in the late 70s, early 80s, and he had worked in the parking lot and got a key and found a vacant concession stand and set up in it and lived there. We're going to talk to him on Monday. Wow.
It's almost like, Preston, there was a story, and the stories have been going on for years. In the New York City subway system, there are old rooms that they used to use and then don't use, and they will go down and find people who are living. There was a guy who had a hot plate. They had
It's like a whole
like a LED TV sets.
Yeah, like they set up like homes. in
Power
there.
still running, heat still running,
Yeah,
and they're living subterranean.
Yeah. As all good things go, though, Garvey's time in his apartment came to an end in 1981 when his uncle's contract with the stadium lots ended. Stadium was torn down in 2004, and along with it, any tangible proof of his secret hideout that it existed. But it's been corroborated by other people that he had this little abode stashed away.
He was hanging out with the athletes' wives.
Yeah, in the vet, which is pretty wild. Let me see here. Yeah, we got a lot of texts coming in about women or calls women who pee in the sink. Hang on a second here, though. Kevin wants to point something out here. I'm going to go to Kevin. Hey, Kevin, you're on the air. Good morning.
Good morning, Gadzooks, guys.
Gadzooks, buddy. What's up?
So actually, the urinal you're talking about, which is the trough in the circle,
Yes.
it's like a 6-foot porcelain. You would think it's a trough. It's actually a sink from like the old factories where multiple people would come off shift and like you can get 10 people around washing their hands.
Yeah, so when I took metal shop in junior high, we had one of those. It was a circular sink, and then there was a foot pedal. You would step on it, and it was a circular,
Right.
it went all the way around.
And that was a sink.
And the water would come out, and that was a sink. So you're saying that's what this was, or you think that's what it was?
No, I'm pretty sure that's what it was because I've had instances where you use the urinal and you come over to wash your hand, and there's a person there
peeing in it,
in the sink, or in the sink.
Yeah, Kevin, there actually was, though, a circular. I absolutely recall it because it was nightmarish in the
Penn Station.
Penn Station, and you'd go in there, and there'd be, but it was much larger than just. He's right, though. Those devices are simply sort of communal sinks.
All right, and real quick, the proper pronunciation, is it trough or trough?
No. Trough with an F.
F, okay.
I saw you saying that, and I wrote that down. You said trough twice with a TH. You can't tell on the radio. It sounds the same.
It's like birthday.
Yeah.
But it's trough.
Trough.
Yeah, with an F.
Like cough.
All right. One other City Beat story, because we're gonna get to Fox Good Day here in a moment, but we're gonna have Tom on, by the way, on Monday, so don't miss it. I'm sure he's got some.
Wow, Keepers alert.
All right, so a gentleman by the name of Jared Cannon has he got a $500,000 investment on the premiere March episode of Shark Tank, and he's from Philadelphia.
Yeah, I was actually watching.
It's a product called Simply Good Jars. It's a startup that sells pre-made salads designed to stay fresh without preservatives. And it hasn't yet made any money, but they had to overhaul their business model during the pandemic. But he went on Shark Tank.
Yeah.
And he pitched it, and Mark Cuban and Lori Greiner are the ones who decided to jump in and invest on the product.
The idea was cool, and $500,000 is pretty solid. I mean, that's a chunk of change.
And so is it confirmed? Because most of these, I've talked to a bunch of people who've been on Shark Tank. Most of them, even though they strike a deal on the show, it doesn't actually happen.
Huh?
What?
We'll have to find out.
Okay.
Yeah, I forget the percentage, but it was a pretty high percentage. But anybody that I've talked to about it, who's been on the show and bought or not bought or whatever, the majority of them have an excellent experience. And even if the deal isn't, because there's a lot more negotiating that happens after the show.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And maybe at that point, they say, I'm not
It's
willing to budge on this.
Right,
and,
exactly.
Okay.
But the people that I've spoken to about it still have like great things to say about the whole experience, even if the deal doesn't go through in the
they
end.
get exposure.
They
out
get
of
so
it.
much exposure.
What's the mechanism there? So are the sharks being paid, or are they simply being? I assume that they have some sort of base deal, but they're being brought these.
I think it's their actual money going into the investment. So I think
that's
on the
it.
back end, that's
Right.
why it doesn't always work out, because they're probably not willing to budge on things, and maybe the people who have the products aren't.
I would imagine the basics that they agree on, because they usually the person with the product will go. We're looking for a $500,000 investment at a 10% stake for X amount of years or whatever. Right. And I would imagine maybe that those basics have to be a part of the agreement, because they shake hands and they say it's a deal. But then when you follow up on all the other minutia, which is involved in contracts, which is ridiculous, then maybe either side, I would imagine not just on the Sharks, maybe the other people are going, maybe we're not going to do this, So,
but like that Lori Greiner, she's done a ton of stuff that's ended up on QVC. And so you see her constantly pitching these products, a lot of them that she gets brought to her by Shark Tank.
I get such a kick out of people when they're doing their presentation. There's a couple of things that I hate. I cringe over the overly nerdy skits.
Yeah.
Yes.
But when the dude gets choked up for no reason in the presentation,
I just knew this was the best sock I had ever made. Really?
The best sock.
And it's usually
what my issue was is my pinky toe never quite fit in it right. And my grandfather, God bless his soul, World War II veteran.
Yeah.
He said, whatever you do, son, make sure your pinky fits in it.
But you can see it coming, and it's usually because I'm not gonna get any nibbles here, and so maybe if I cry a little bit.
It's a salad in a mason jar.
About a month ago, Casey, it was a husband and wife, and they were pitching some power cookie. I don't know what it was, right? And it was the Sharks ended up not buying on it, but we're watching it, and it was so rehearsed that you could see as he was giving his pitch, she was mouthing the words a couple of times.
Oh, I love it.
And then he started to cry. And I was like, you were practicing that crying in the mirror, you fakers? Oh my God, it pissed me off so much.
So I don't know if Jared Cannon cries in this episode or not, but he introduced viewers to his convenient, healthier meals.
His presentation was good, very good.
And he said not only is salad his favorite meal to prepare, but he wanted to create a healthy, convenient food option and hope to reduce plastic waste with the reusable, recyclable jars that he has. He said all our jars are returnable, so every jar that we get back, we not only reuse it, but we also donate one meal to feed someone in need. Last year, they did just shy of $300,000. He said we're $475,000 year to date, but on track for $700,000 to $750,000 this year. But we're not profitable, and we won't be for about a year. What?
They're playing a video of this guy crying from Shark Tank.
This is the one I'm referencing, and it's so rehearsed. And Steve, your impression is 100% accurate.
I wonder what these judges think when because
they can't look like a-holes. They can't be
my father, who we used to call Popo. He loved cookies so much, but he said they didn't have the power, and so I created the pepper cookie. Oh my God. didn't get a chance to bury him because he was laying in the funeral parlor. Raccoons ate him.
Raccoons? I don't know how they got in. Oh my God! And it's always the guy. It's always the guy that cries too.
I know. Well, it's the money shot, right?
So Cannon already raised $2.5 million from outside investors. He said, adding that he owned 51% of the company that he founded in 2017. So $2.5 million wasn't enough to do it. They needed more. Wow.
The idea is you send the jars back, and they donate the food to they donate
a meal.
charity. Yep.
Okay.
Which is really nice.
Mm-hmm. So they had to switch their strategy and start selling them in convenience stores and Walgreens locations. Never think about getting salad at Walgreens.
Never have.
But I guess it's working out for him. By the way, he graduated from Temple's Fox School of Business in 2016.
Nice.
A Master of Science in Innovation Management and Entrepreneurship. So he's doing all right. Nice.
I like the idea of no preservatives and that the jar keeps it completely fresh.
I would certainly try it out. All right. That's it. That's all we're doing in the city this morning on the Preston and Steve Show. Yeah. We need to take a break because we're going to go live on Fox Good Day in a moment. But with all that talk about food, why don't we give away this from Portofino Italian-style tuna, a $50 Visa gift card.
Totally.
Caller number 22 at 215-263-WMMR. It is yours. And Primo Hoagies brought in a lot of great stuff that they use Portofino tuna in. Their tuna Diablo, which is my favorite tuna sandwich that they have there. The pescara and the Italian tuna and cheese. So thank you guys, of course, from Primo's and Portofino. So caller 22, we're going to set you up with that, and we will be back in a moment with the Bizarre File and our stop on Fox Good Day. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
When you're running a business, you don't have time to worry about slow internet or confusing cybersecurity. So get fast, reliable internet from Comcast Business on the network that can deliver gig speeds to the most businesses. You can add the advanced security of Comcast Business Security Edge to help eliminate threats. And enjoy the peace of mind that comes with knowing 24/7 support is just a phone call away. Get fast internet and advanced security made simple so you can bounce forward with Comcast Business. Get started with 100 megabits per second internet for just $69.99 a month for 24 months with a 3-year agreement. And ask how you can add Comcast Business Security Edge. And for a limited time, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card when you upgrade. Call 1-800-501-6000 today. Offer ends 3/28/21. Restrictions apply. New Comcast Business 100 megabits per second service customers only. Early termination fee applies. Equipment installation, tax, and fees.
should be, in a few seconds, we'll be hearing the music. So here we go. We'll go live in just a
President
second.
Steve, what do you think about this? There's new research shows that men are turning to makeup and skincare products because they want to look good on
Sorry?
on Zoom.
Oh,
Zoom calls or TV shows.
Just give a second. Preston's just fixing his lips. Sorry.
Oh, wait, hang on a second.
Wait.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, you got to blow that.
We thought it was Steve who was going to be the one.
He knows how to do it.
Well, I do know how to do it. But Kathy, we actually just thought about it last second, and Kathy had to sprint to. And, in this COVID time, they said guys shouldn't double up on lipstick. So,
right.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, it's true. So I firmly believe this is happening. Preston, you did that without a mirror. That's pretty good.
Already.
Yeah.
I feel like Robert Smith from The Cure.
Your
You kind of look like
Is that my mustache?
Yeah,
Of course.
It's a little Ronald McDonald.
Right.
Well, Casey, you know what? This topic, Casey was just talking about this, having Zoom calls and wanting to look a little bit more presentable.
Well, because I'm actually hosting a designer bag bingo tomorrow evening for my daughter's high school, and so it's all being done virtual. And I actually, prior to all this, I was like, I wonder if I should touch myself up a little bit because I'm going to have a ring light, and I was wondering if I should probably put some concealer on or something. I don't know.
And would you decide? No decision yet?
Well, I don't know. I'm looking at Kathy. I'm like,
do you have concealer?
I have a wife. She's got concealer, right?
This isn't something new for Mike and people in the
in TV.
industry. You guys wear makeup. It's an everyday
Yeah,
thing.
because you get all washed out if you don't.
I'll tell you where I've become sort of enamored of the ideas on my OnlyFans page is when I'm I use pancake makeup because there are blemishes that you can see just at the point where my buttocks connects to my leg.
Yeah. Mike, do you do your own makeup, or do you have a makeup person?
Obviously, I do.
We have to do our own.
Obviously.
But when he was at the fancy network, they even put mascara on.
Well, up at when I worked for the network over the years, they blow dry the makeup. I mean, blow dry. They blow it on. What do they call that? Airbrush.
Wow, they have a lot of extra perks up there at the network.
Use a leaf blower on your face.
Sometimes I was late to the set.
Mike is still in makeup. He's been in there for about 2 hours.
Makeup shotgun.
Yeah. Why is he always spent when he gets on set?
Trust me, it wouldn't be that long.
Keep going.
So they would have hair and makeup people, and they would put eyeliner and mascara.
And why? To make your eyes look more defined?
Yeah, make your eyes pop a little bit.
Well,
you guys should put on some mascara.
Listen, we're on radio, so we get away with not having to do this, but we look so stupid.
I played in a band before I got into radio, and we did this photo shoot one time, and they decided to use eyeliner. You could rip my fingernails out instead. That was pain. I don't know how. There's some makeup application. I don't know how women do it. I guess you get desensitized to it over time. But the shine is a big thing, right, guys? With the lights, you want to deaden the shine a little bit.
Powder up.
Just like regular baby powder. Or is that going to turn you into...
You're going to look like Powder from the movie Powder.
That's if you have greasy hair.
I don't know these things.
No, like a powder.
It's like a makeup powder.
Honestly,
for your skin tone.
What do you do to this for TV? What I would brick face this. This is horrible. Yeah. There's no TV makeup that's going to correct what we have going on.
Well, I can connect you with a makeup artist in New York.
Okay. Yeah, I need some of that blow drying.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Guys.
It's
all right. Take care, guys. We'll see you later. Is it? Do men go up to the makeup counter often?
Yeah, there are men that work at makeup counters.
Okay.
So absolutely.
This is a tremendous. This is reports have been coming out, and in fact, keying off this that at like Ulta Cosmetics and other places like that they are seeing a tremendous uptick in men going in exactly for that reason, and just in general, it had been on the uptick prior to all the Zoom stuff and the coronavirus and all of that. Because it's just kind of become a thing.
But I told you guys this story, and it's something that will forever stay with me. I was brand new at NBC 10, and I was a PA. It was just out of college. I was nervous, and we would do this meeting after the 11 p.m. newscast. And Vi Sikahema walked in, and during the roundup, where everybody was talking about how the show went, Vi took a cloth and he was wiping the makeup off his face, and I was like, oh my God, the guys wear makeup too. And I think Vi had more makeup on than whoever he was co-hosting with at the time. But I was like, okay, all right, everybody wears makeup here.
Well, you can't imagine how much those studio lights flood you out.
Yeah.
You know?
Ours do a little bit because we have studio lights here in the studio. But again, Steve, obviously we're on radio. What if the 4 men in the studio for next week with Fox, we had our makeup professionally done?
Right.
Sure, we
like
can do that.
have somebody from Ulta or whatever come in and do it for us.
And not
I
do
think-
it comically.
No, do it for real.
Do it like for real. Although I think Nick Murphy says that our lights are not great. So I don't know if makeup is. He said they're okay.
We're kind of like like complete scattered. We're not like key lit, And,
Yeah,
and
right.
I mean, it's
Yeah, but
okay.
we know a ton of makeup artists. I'm sure. Were we allowed to
Do you
have
want
people
Ashley
in here?
Gallo to come in?
We
Preston?
can't have anybody in yet. So maybe we can't do it soon. But down the road a little bit, maybe we can do
Maybe
that.
in like 3 months.
By the way, Kathy, do you even want your lip gloss back after I've used it now?
No, that's why I gave you that one because I don't use that color. And
That's
Steve,
why-
I only had one that was like the other one I have is like a natural lip color. They wouldn't.
okay. Be that way.
I know. I'm sorry. Sorry.
All right.
Afraid I'd look better.
We skipped traffic, so we got to thank our friends at MG Insurance for sponsoring it. Let's get right to that. Inside the classroom, they were injuring that kid and 4 classmates that were sitting nearby. School administrators dialed 911. Schools immediately evacuated, and students were transferred to the bus garage as emergency services arrived on scene, and they did a lockdown in the entire district. Based on the initial,
you'd think you'd know that you weren't supposed to bring a bomb to school.
Based on the initial investigation, it appears the student had no ill intent and did not intend to detonate the device. The 16-year-old was taken to the hospital for moderate to severe injuries. The 4 students were taken to the hospital by their parents for minor injuries. And I don't know if this kid's going to face any disciplinary actions because of that or not. Now, police said now this is a different kind, not really an explosion, but there's an explosive element to it. Police said a suspected drunk driver crashed into an artillery piece at the Veterans Memorial Park Plaza Sunday night in Oregon. Police identified the driver vehicle as 42-year-old Michael Hines, who was in his car with a passenger. Steve Andrigan said that he had restored the 75-millimeter pack howitzer back in 2015.
Oh, boy.
He claimed that the history of the piece goes farther back than World War II, but apparently this guy slammed into the howitzer,
destroyed it?
wrecked his car. Residents say they were shocked when they saw that the howitzer was missing from the park on Monday. They took the howitzer to the Springfield Operations Yard on Monday. Gibson said that the city does plan to fix the piece and have it restored to its original position as soon as possible. The driver and passenger involved in the car crash were taken to a medical center for treatment, but were reported to have no life-threatening injuries.
It looked so cool prior to the...
But this guy will always have the story to tell that he crashed into a howitzer one day. A judge ordered a psychological evaluation to help determine the competency of a Florida man charged with having sexual contact with a pair of large stuffed animals at a Target store. During a hearing, this is a follow-up because we've had this story before. Judge Kathy Ann McKighton had appointed a psychologist to examine Cody Meter, who is 22 years old. He was being charged with criminal mischief and exposure of sexual organs. A further hearing on Meter's ability to stand trial has been scheduled for next month. So a Target loss prevention officer told cops that he watched as Meter took a stuffed unicorn to the children's bedding department, where he exposed himself and took the unicorn and placed it against his genitals and began a sexual motion like the subject was trying to have sex with the unicorn. The Target employee said that when he walked into the aisle where Meter was, he stopped and placed the unicorn back on the shelf. Meter then wandered, wearing shorts, by the way, and a Star Wars t-shirt, then went to the front of the store, picked up an Olaf snowman stuffed animal, and began having sex with this stuffed animal, and it was all on video, by the way. Now, it's very graphic in its description of this, but I will paraphrase. The subject finished having sex with the stuffed animal, and let's just put it this way, he went the distance on this thing.
He let it go.
And he let it go.
Really?
Absolutely.
Oh,
yes.
my God.
I mean, if you're going to go for it.
While Meter was engaged with the Olaf doll. Yes. Police were already... Police were en route to the store. After watching the video, a cop reported that Meter could be seen on top of the Olaf doll behind the table display. He was face down and appeared to be humping the doll. When Meter was finished, the cop added he got up off the floor, wiped off the doll.
Oh, good.
How about selling that?
Upon begin to reading his rights, Meter admitted to, quote, doing stupid stuff. And then I can't even say what he said after this. It's so funny, though. He Nutted on the Olaf.
Oh, my God.
Well, that sounds very Disney-esque.
That's what he said.
Yeah. So, point of clarification here, is he then at this point a plushie or a furry? He's a...
Do you want to build a snowman?
I think that's a plushie.
That's a plushie, right? A furry is someone who dresses up.
I think so, yeah. All right, is that all we're going to do? We'll do one more story.
That's a crescendo there.
Yeah, but we'll cleanse the palate a little bit here with this. New Hampshire state troopers working together on Route 8 stopped a blur and got a Massachusetts man to pull over and stop after being clocked driving 142 miles per hour.
142 miles per hour.
Yeah, when troopers got the Porsche to pull over on the side of the toll plaza, they arrested 20-year-old Christopher N. Friend, who now faces reckless driving charge. New Hampshire could result in a minimum fine of $500 to a suspension of license for 6 months. He's a Porsche fan. He's got stuff like this all over his social media of him driving these cars fast. He was released from jail on bail and will face charges in court this coming May. 142 miles an hour. And that is what I have in the bizarre file for you. Let's take a break. A reminder, we have a secret text word. Today we have your chance to win a home run package for All That Rage, which is the new Rage Room located at the Bates Motel Escape Room facility in Westchester. Text the word secret to 39333. See if you win a little bit. When we get back, Mr. Skin has his $1 Million Bracket Challenge. We'll find out what that's all about and more when we get back.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
The Preston and Steve
wasn't enough. We need more, and we've picked 64 of them. Then we went and got an independent party, a company.
An independent accounting firm?
Yeah, it really was. A skin-dependent in this case. And they chose a bracket on their own. We have no idea what it is. It's under lock and key, and if anyone, their bracket matches up with theirs, they win $1 million. But like I said, the 5 best win lifetime memberships to MrSkin.com.
I have to say, it's done exactly what a bracket. Now, whether you care about, we've done our own brackets involving musicians and bands and stuff throughout the years, and regardless, you may go and going, I don't know, what's the draw of this? Already looking at this list, and you start to approach it in a clinical way, there is a certain genius to these things, because I find myself already looking at what am I basing this on? Because you're right. Is it somebody we've seen a lot of already, and there's just a curiosity of the person they're up against to see something that we haven't seen?
Yeah.
And also, for example, you've paired athletic people like Serena Williams with Gina Carano. And so there is a rhyme and a reason. It doesn't seem to be completely happenstance. You have 2 actresses from The Big Bang Theory. You have Kaylee Cuoco.
Right. That was the nerd bracket. Yes.
Right. And in the nerd bracket, I would and see if you agree with this, Mr. Skin, is that I would go with Melissa Rauch, who was never really the one who was exposing a lot.
What is she up against?
She's up against Kaylee Cuoco.
Okay.
Yeah, from the same show. And funny thing with Melissa Rauch, for any of your listeners out there, you might have saw a movie in 2016 called The Bronze, and Melissa Rauch played a Olympic gymnast. And at the hour and 20-minute mark of that movie, there's a sex scene that is one of the greatest sex scenes I've ever seen in a movie, because it combined incredible athleticism, like Olympic-style athleticism, with incredible nudity. The problem was Melissa Rauch's character was supposed to be doing it, but it was an obvious body double, because they truly needed they actually got an Olympic athlete to do the nudity. But so it didn't count, because she still hasn't been nude, but it is something fascinating to watch if anyone wants to see it.
I want to point out Mr. Skin's attention to detail, because you have on this list Mila Kunis against Kristen Bell, and together they were in the movie Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Now, there's a scene where a picture is taken down off a wall of Mila Kunis, and she's topless. But you know what, Mr. Skin?
Yes,
I actually, a listener of this show, is the person who created that photo for that movie. She works in movie props, and she actually was the one who photoshopped that, and she had emailed me about it, and I'm like, it's flawless. It looks
perfect.
like it would absolutely be her, but that is definitely not her bare breast.
And of course, yes, and of course that happens at the 51-minute mark. I don't know if you want to go to that, but you're right, and that's the thing, is a lot of times people see an actress in a nude scene, but they don't realize it's a body double. So I think a lot of people saw that Sarah Marshall thing and obviously thought it was her, but we completely point that out at our website that it was Photoshopped, the body double. It's still cool to see, but I'll tell you what, the hard part has been the CGI stuff, where they're getting better and better.
It's crazy. The deep fakes are throwing everything off. But there's still, so listen, and it becomes it becomes even just a more almost scientific, clinical thing here. As I look at this, I think I see a potential dark horse here, Mr. Skin.
Okay.
I see Milana Weintraub, I think is her name. Is she the AT&T girl?
Yes.
So there has been recently on social media a resurgence in fascination. You guys are familiar with her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she is.
She looks kind of plain Jane in the commercials, but she's stunningly beautiful.
Right. So what do you think the odds are that somebody like from the recesses, the dark corners, could come through and take the whole thing?
Yeah, anything's possible. The beauty of this is there's no right or wrong answers, and it just comes down to, are you a fan? Is it someone you really want to see do a nude scene? Like, you brought her up, but, like, I'll throw out, like, Dolly Parton is on this list, and you think, well, gosh, she's 75 years old.
Yeah.
But the weird thing about Dolly Parton is 5 states in 2020 that was the most searched actress at MrSkin.com. And I don't know if it's because she's so in the news, if she did there was the documentary on her. I don't know what it is, but she is so popular all of a sudden, and we put her on this list, and I'd be interested to see how far Dolly Parton goes, because I think us guys are of the same age bracket, sort of, and I think growing up, we've always wondered what Dolly Parton would look like topless.
Yeah, well, she's done Playboy, and there's talk perhaps, and not, obviously she hasn't done snatch shots and stuff like that, but
she didn't even do nip shots.
That was very strategic.
Right, but there is talks that she's going to do that. Now, she's up against Jessica Simpson, who also sits in that realm. Anybody who remembers the remake of Dukes of Hazzard? You know, and this has been something as well. I see another pairing here, Preston, that I'll throw at you, and I think this would be particularly difficult for you. Anna Taylor-Joy against Sophie Turner.
I was looking at that.
I think that's one of the toughest ones. In 2020, Anya Taylor-Joy broke out huge. Like, she was pretty unknown prior to, pre-COVID. That Queen's Gambit, so many people watched the show and fell in love with her. And I'll tell you one thing, she hasn't done a nude scene because Queen's Gambit didn't have nudity, but in the same year, she did this kind of a I'd call it like a powdered wig type of movie called Emma.
Yes, we had her in the studio, and she was promoting it. She was wonderful and funny and smart, and she was great. But we didn't know, like, for example, how she presented at the Golden Globes. We didn't realize that was going on.
Yeah. Well, you got to see this Emma, because it's one of the sexiest non-nude scenes I've ever seen. She's just a beautiful girl, and she comes across great on screen.
She's great.
For anyone out there, if you don't know the name Sophie Turner, better known as Sansa Stark on Game of Thrones, and she did almost the impossible, guys. She was able to go through the whole series of Game of Thrones without doing a nude scene. That's not easy to do.
Yeah, her character was kind of prim and proper, so she didn't get that.
Let me ask you as well, because we like to represent all different tastes. Is there a Mr. Skin male counterpart on your companion site?
Oh, good question. No, we didn't do this for the males, but I got to tell you, when I started Mr. Man, reluctantly I might add, but it was stupid. It was stupid of me. I'll admit it now. When my guys came to me and said, "Look, we're already going through Game of Thrones and all these television shows that have male nudity. Why not just start a male site?" So at first I was like, yeah, whatever. But it's become, no pun intended, our fastest growing website, and over the last 6 years, and it's doing incredible because there's so much more male nudity now
than
there was in the back when I started this over 20 years ago.
And life is a buffet here. I think the ladies and men, whoever is into male nudity, will appreciate that as well. I see another pairing here that I think also is another hot one. Ariel Winter against Sofia Vergara from Modern Family, both from Modern Family.
Yeah, Ariel Winter's become really popular on social media over the last couple of years, but Sofia Vergara is definitely one that if I had to choose, like in my top 5, she would be there. And before she was famous, she was a model in like Colombia or something, and she did this calendar. It was like, almost think of it like how they do those Sports Illustrated swimsuit special videos and stuff. She did one, but it was like literally in like Colombia or somewhere over there, and she was in a thong and she was like holding her own breasts, and it was like, oh my God, if you haven't seen this, it's great. It's not technically nude, but definitely worth checking out. But yeah, I'd love for Sofia Vergara to do a nude scene, so that's why she's in our bracket.
Do you know that she was actually a successful businesswoman years ago, running her own talent agency and modeling? I mean, that all that stuff predated any of the acting. Obviously, she turned out to be incredibly adept at comedic acting, and one
of the most highest paid.
Yes, absolutely, it's amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
The bracket system, the matchups are pretty impressive. I like how the some of these people started movies together or shows together, or they have some type of tie that brings them together to make them go up against each other. It's not going to be easy.
my crack staff tried to tie this in as best they could, and I was actually surprised by some of the names in here. That Serena Williams, Gina Carano is kind of clever, I thought. But
I think it's great.
It's fun, and even like this old standbys like Jennifer Aniston's up against Brooklyn Decker, and Jennifer Aniston's come really close. I mean, the breakup with Vince Vaughn when she was walking down the hallway, you could kind of see her butt and stuff like that. But Brooklyn Decker's the girl. Remember that Adam Sandler movie, Just Go With It, where she came out of the ocean in a yellow bikini? It's like an iconic movie moment.
Yeah, they're both in it.
Oh, yeah, exactly. They're both in it, and that's why they're together in the bracket. But, how do you choose between those? Because, it's like every one of these, you have that kind of issue. It's going to be a tough choice.
Mr. Skin, I wanted to ask you, obviously you made a career out of nudity in films. Do you remember the first time you saw nudity and what that was?
Yeah, well, okay, yes. One is the movie Steam Bath. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. That was actually a PBS miniseries.
Well, there you go. Thank God for PBS if you were a little kid in the 70s.
Yes.
I know who it was.
Right.
It was Valerie Perrine, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an adaptation of a Bruce J. Friedman off-Broadway play, and they actually made a movie that aired on PBS in the 70s. And for me, as a little kid, before I was even in high school and stuff, at the 6-minute mark to see Valerie Perrine nude, that was amazing. But probably one of my greatest moments and what led me to be Mr. Skin was when I got cable television in 1980, and I got my first Betamax, and I taped a movie called Bobby Joe and the Outlaw.
Yes. Linda Carter.
Linda Carter, the original Wonder Woman nude, and I thought to myself, oh my God, if she's been nude, who else? And it led me on a quest ever since.
Wasn't Bobby Joe that actor Marjo Gortner,
right.
who started as a preacher?
That's a great obscure trivia question. Yes, Marjo Gartner, whatever happened.
Yeah, I like it. And pairings are as random in your bracket list as Haley Seinfeld against Haley Atwell. Preston just started watching the Agent Carter series. And
I had no idea she was as voluptuous as she is. And Haley Steinfeld, Steve, she just did this bikini spread, and that's a tough choice. Whether you like the the more younger or more voluptuous and older.
It all comes down to really, if you stop and think about it, Preston, it's the classic Ginger Marianne. It's the same thing. Yeah,
totally.
We probably should have put Marianne in here, but we couldn't put Ginger because she has been nude in Mean Dog Blues from the late 70s.
Of course you would know that.
Yeah. All right,
and we don't have Mrs. Howell in here.
Dear Lord. So $1 million is up for grabs if somebody wins
just
this.
For playing, and it's totally free. It's on the front page of our site.
Okay.
You could have fun, and hey, you never know, you might win $1 million. And I hope you do because I have insurance.
Well, I know for a fact that at some point you're going to be called upon to do for the guys, with the guys as well. So you might as well start putting that in.
Yeah, I'll have to call on you guys to be skin turns for that one. So yeah.
MrSkin.com/million bracket challenge, or just go to the website and you can vote. But it'll be fun just to fill out the bracket just for all of it.
Totally fun, totally free.
What's the next thing that's coming up down the road? Any Skinatomy awards?
My Anatomy Awards. They push the Oscars out to I want to say third week of April or so. It's out there. So normally my Anatomy Awards would already be done, because in the old days it was in late February. So I'm going to be doing my Anatomy Awards in probably a month and a half. So maybe I'll be talking to you guys.
Let me ask you, is there something that equates in the Mr. Skin world to the Razzies for most disappointing nude scene or more?
It's okay. I hear you, but here's the thing. What's disappointing to us is lack of nudity. I've always, from day one, made the call. We're never going to, rain on someone's parade and say, Kathy Bates is nude. That's horrible.
Okay, I think that's fair.
That's just not a thing. So I've always rejected that, only because we want to be known as always celebrating nudity. Because I always feel like there's some guy out there that is so happy that Kathy Bates did a nude scene. Why should I say, oh, that's disgusting or whatever? I would never do that. So
but
we
Mr.
always
Skin,
are excited about it.
I've got a great name for the awards if you did it, though.
What?
The Sager Awards.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's actually good.
I am writing that
All right, yeah.
And we're in SAG, too, so we can do that.
We are. We're members of SAG, so.
Yes. And rightly
All right.
so. Yes.
All right, Mr. Skin, we'll point people in the direction of your website and the $1 Million Challenge, and I'm sure we'll talk to you soon, okay?
You got it. Thanks so much. That was fun.
You bet, man.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Skin. Wow.
You got to see the video he produced. That I mean, the site is it's a kind of a juggernaut. He produced a thing for this bracket thing, and the production's top level, and it's he's created an empire.
I had asked him the question first, nudity you had seen in a movie that you can remember at least, and I know Casey, you've said it was it Dragon Slayer? Yeah, mine I remember. And it was after we got cable television very early, and
are we talking non-magazine?
Yeah, non-magazine, a movie. So like Mr. Skin, you know. So I had seen it happened to be on. I didn't watch the whole movie, but it was just a part of it, and I tuned in and saw it, and it was A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah,
where they're
brutal.
Well, the part where they're testing his the procedure that they did on him,
right?
And so they have a woman standing with her top off.
She comes out on stage,
and he wants to reach up and touch, but he can't because of this process they put him through. So that's the first I can remember boobs I ever saw.
Actually PBS, the public broadcasting, which is supported by your dollars, by the way. I remember. I think Preston was a Monty Python episode.
Yeah, I was going to say Monty Python and Benny Hill. You can kind of count on those British shows to see a little bit of boob.
I clearly remember Steam Bath. The idea of Steam Bath was that the Purgatory was a steam bath, so everyone was kind of hanging out. Bill Bixby was in it.
Oh my God!
Yeah, so it was that sort of thing. It was a comedy.
Kathy, does any of that stick out to you the same way it does for us? No. Okay.
No, I actually listen. I love Mr. Skin, but every time you book him, I'm like, oh, here we go.
Really?
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
I don't care.
Have you checked out the male counterpart? Is male nudity anything like? I know you think the Bridgerton guy, the Bridgerton actor, is very attractive.
Yeah, no, I was fine with them. Just the way he was in the show. I didn't need to see him naked and right.
I had an interesting naked moment the other day. So Rochelle and I were. We went out. We have a hot tub, so we went out and got in the hot tub, and then when you get done, obviously go upstairs, change, shower, whatever it is. So we went into the bathroom, and she lays down on the floor because she was still hot from the water, and and I'm like, "What are you doing down there?" She's like, "Well, I'm cool enough." So she's laying on this bath mat, just laying on the floor. I happened to be naked at the time because I was going to get into the shower, and so she's laying on the floor. Bill's in here; he's going to love this. So I go over and I straddle her, and I begin to teabag as a joke,
as a joke.
And she goes, "Your daughter is right on the other side of that door right now, and it's not locked. Can you imagine what it would be like if she opened the door right now?"
I can tell you what it would be like. It would be like that warm summer afternoon when I came back a little too early, and my mother was kneeling next to my father.
That's right.
Taking care of him.
You poor thing.
And that is burned into my mind, and in moments of deep pain or anguish.
May I ask you, did you see it like a softcore film, as in you can't quite see all the action that's going on?
I did not see that because that.
Thank God for Little
I would have gone down and I would have eaten some sort of house cleanser and killed myself.
Right.
But I could also remember, Preston, in my father's eyes, the "you mother effer."
At you?
He
at
saw
me.
you?
Yeah, that's probably
mother effer.
So, my buddy walked in on my other buddy's mom. Like, she was completely topless, bottomless, and he walked into her bedroom. It wasn't his own mother.
He has no. Why would you do that?
Okay. At what age? At what age?
Oh, we were probably like 12, 13 years old, something like that.
Why was he walking into their room?
I don't know. I don't know.
Scoping out the house?
I don't know if we were playing hide and go seek or whatever, but like, you never go into your friend's parents' bedroom. Like, that's just a no-no.
The location was my grandparents' home in Flagler Beach. I remember it clearly. I walked into, I don't know, I mean, sometimes the grandparents forget that when you're not visiting, that they forget you're visiting sometimes. And I was a young man, maybe 7, 8, 9, maybe. And my grandmother was changing and topless. fortunately the shirt was up over her face. And I walked in, she had the house was right on the beach, and I attempted to walk into the water and kill myself.
But she didn't know.
She had no idea.
Oh.
But I mean, I remember everything, and it haunted me all the days of my life. And I love my grandmother. She made wonderful pudding.
She made wonderful
with the skin on the top and everything,
With the skin
right?
on the top.
Oh God.
I hated that too.
We've never had the walk-in on us scenario, but my God, do we get interrupted all the time? It's just like
It's like they won't.
It's in the back of my mind all the time now. I read a story recently about a couple who has just flat out, and their kids are like grade school age kids. And with pandemic and homeschooling, they decided to just be transparent with it, and they hang a little thing on the door. Mom and dad and they know what they're doing.
Busy.
Stay away.
How would
they just
you?
got tired of it. They just let them know. Little early sex education, which is not such a horrible thing. But you know.
I say invite them in.
I don't know.
I
like to feel that we're setting a good example for my children. That mom and dad still love each other and can be intimate. I'm sure they don't see it that way.
I mean, they're used to hearing it, but they're not used to seeing it.
Right.
It's usually
With
played over the intercom.
Mm-hmm. But we got interrupted. We got interrupted the other day. And I'm like, ding, 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 knock on the door. I'm like, oh, dear God. We're watching a movie.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, totally.
And that's Rochelle.
Yeah.
I'm being teabagged. Leave me alone.
Oh, God.
What movie?
What?
You said you're watching a movie? Oh, you.
No, I was making it up. I mean, we put something on. We always put something on that we absolutely do not care about in the slightest bit. So it'll be some, it'll be like cricket, football, some kind of game that we don't care about, to give some ambiance, a little noise,
And you don't
because
get distracted, and you're like, I love this
if you put something good on.
Hold on a minute, I love this part of the movie.
Exactly.
Wait a second. Are you inadvertently causing a Pavlovian response that anytime now you see a cricket game, you're going to get aroused?
I didn't think about that. Maybe. Yeah, but we try to put something on that we don't care about at all.
Yeah.
Or like, there's music channels on cable as well.
Yeah. Right.
We'll put on some Spanish, thing where we can't even understand the language, so we won't get distracted when you hear, if Benny and the Jets came on, it's one of my favorite songs.
Then you're going to listen.
I'm probably going to be,
Be quiet. I want to hear this.
Yeah, exactly. Distracting. What it is.
Oh, but she's weird and she's wonderful.
Yeah, there needs to be a system for kids to stay away. And maybe we should have made up.
There is. It's called military school.
We should have made up some lie years ago about when we set this out, it means we're doing this.
We're talking to Santa Claus.
Yeah, something along those lines. We have a monthly call with Santa Claus, or a weekly call, or whatever it is.
We love you all, but we also had another child, and we keep that child in our room, and we torture that child.
Right.
If you want to be that tortured child, then bother us when we're torturing this child.
All right. I get some text coming in saying, "Oh my God, that's exactly what my husband and I do, Preston." That they use something like that as a distraction. Let me go to. Well, let's see. We're gonna go to Molly.
Molly.
Hi, we just changed your name. Molly, you're on the air.
Hey, so I have a hideous story of my child walking in on me.
Oh no.
And it was awful, and it was everything you can imagine. But my husband and I were in the bedroom, and my daughter was about 13, and I was on top of him, fully engrossed in the moment.
Yes.
No sheets because you got hot.
Right.
And he flew the door open, walked in on FaceTime with her girlfriend.
Excuse me.
Oh, yes, he did. Yes, he did. She walked in holding the phone, walked right up to the bed, threw her left leg out, put her hand on her hip, and said, what are you doing?
Shut up.
Oh, my God.
Molly,
Not kidding at all.
this had to be an orchestrated
She knew
effort to
what you guys
get
were
you in
doing.
the act. Yes.
No, I have not. No, I don't know what she was thinking, and I just looked at her and said, "Get out, get out."
Molly,
Oh, my God.
Did we have a conversation about this afterwards?
No.
Never
Did
spoken
we
of
take her
since.
phone away?
Sounds like my family.
I think my husband may have said, don't ever walk into our room again. I don't think it's ever been spoken about again. I don't think she'll ever. I don't know. If she talks about that with her friends, she might.
Oh,
like,
she
I'm talking
definitely-
about
I'll tell you this. I always
She's
knew
actually on
growing
the
up,
phone line.
would you ever walk into if your parents' bedroom door was closed, would you ever walk in?
Oh, yeah. It depends on the type of house and type of family you grew up with.
Molly.
Absolutely, 100%. There was, and even like the kid case, your friend, the kid walking in, like our house was so open, people felt so welcome that I don't think that ever happened.
Walk into a bedroom?
Go into like anywhere. It was just like you were welcome if you needed something. Like I could easily see that happening.
I don't think we had one door in my house growing up that actually locked.
Had a lock on it, yeah.
I don't think one door actually locked. Every single
Both my parents' doors locked, so you could go into the bathroom, the master bathroom. The master bathroom was a main bathroom on the second floor, so you could go in one door and then out the other door to the master bedroom. That had a lock, and the door from that bedroom out to the hallway had a lock.
My parents' bedroom, it was so the bedroom door would open, and the closet doors, like as soon as you walked into the bedroom, the closet door was directly to your right. And what you could do is you could kind of open both doors so that the one door would go into the doorknob of the other door, and you could kind of lock it that way. But other than that, I don't think bathroom doors, none of them locked.
The steamer trunk where my dad kept his submissive stuff, that was always locked with a huge padlock.
I'm going to go to Christina. You're on the air, Christina. Good morning.
Oh, my goodness. I'm so sorry to bother you guys at work.
It's okay. Apology is not necessary. What's up?
I have 5 kids. You know, somebody was bound to walk in on us at some point. So I have an 8-year-old, probably about a year ago. My mom happens to live with us. We are very blessed to have my mom with us. So she comes down the long hallway. We're the only people down, like in our master suite downstairs, and she comes down to the long hallway. She had to have seen something because she goes upstairs. She wakes my mom up. She has a bad dream. My mom tells the next morning, she's like, yeah, Isabel came to us, or came to me, woke me up in the middle of the night. She had a bad dream. And I look at her, and she's like, I'm like, well, why didn't you come to mommy, honey? She said, I did. And the look on her face, oh my God, she was just like, there was a look of confusion, of embarrassment. You know, she saw something. She had no idea what the hell she was seeing.
She was busy doing reverse cowgirl.
Yeah.
Oh my God. She's like, what the hell did I just see? I know I'm not supposed to see this. Was the most embarrassing thing for her, poor thing. But we still laugh about it to this day.
Sure.
And she will go to my mom if she sees the door closed.
Hey, by the way, how old is she now?
She's 8, so she was about 7 when it happened.
Okay.
Oh, this is fairly recently.
Yeah, fairly recently.
In family history.
Fairly recently. Oh, yeah. But, you know, I got 5 kids, and, you know, they're all grade school age. So there's a lot of business that happens.
What you hope for, Christina, is that it didn't process. Because I remember, like as I said, when I was younger, my dad took us. We all went to see the movie Deliverance, and you know, the whole hillbilly sexual assault sequence went right over my head, and I left going, boy, we should get a kayak. So
at some point, that stuff starts processing, and you're like, oh my God.
Right.
You know, a hillbilly on the TV is a lot different than mom and dad, and you know you're going to figure out what mom and dad did one day.
All right, Christina, thanks for sharing. We appreciate it. One more quick call, then we got to take a break. I'm going to go to Thaddeus. Hey, Thaddeus, you're on. Good morning,
Hey, good morning, guys.
What's up, bud?
Yeah, so I was about 8 years old at my friend's house, and we wanted to go out swimming, so we ran up to the parents' bedroom, busted the door open, and his mom and dad were just going at it. Dad was drilling mom.
Oh, my God.
Dad's ass was like right in my face.
Oh.
It was so traumatizing, and the worst part about it was that my friend and I, we didn't talk to each other the rest of the day.
Yeah.
8-year-olds, like, what? It was so traumatizing. We were just...
That's 8-year-olds never shut up. That's God.
That's where you're 8 years old and you're kind of sitting in the windowsill smoking a cigarette, like, what did I see? What was that?
All right, thanks, Thaddeus. We'll see you.
Hey, can we go swimming? Hey, mister.
Oh, God.
Hey, mister.
Mortifying. All the way around. For
With
everybody.
his dad's ass in his face.
For everybody. All right. Well, anyway. What? Casey's
because it's not It's not romantic, okay?
It's animal.
Berlin is not playing Taking My Breath Away in the background, and it's not all silhouetted. It's a leg over the shoulder. Oh, my God.
It's love between adults, between married.
That's how we all got
man
here.
and woman.
Exactly.
So romantic. All right. Listen, we got to wrap this up, but I want to do something for the tuna lady. I want to give away a $50 Visa gift card from our friends at Portofino Tuna. They are here. They brought us great food from Primo Hoagies, which uses Portofino tuna. When you open a can of Portofino Italian-style canned tuna, you will see a beautiful solid fillet of albacore or yellowfin tuna. From the very start, the tuna looks and tastes high-quality Portofino Italian-style canned tuna, seasoned in extra virgin olive oil with a dash of sea salt. We'll take caller number 19 and give you $50, courtesy of them. 215-263-WMMR. We're going to take a break. When we get back, reminiscing about the 20th anniversary of the storm of the century, John Belaris will be on with us. We'll be right back.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
He shoots! He scores!
MMR rocks with the Philadelphia Flyers.
Shoot saved by Elliott. The Flyers win it in the shootout.
Tune in for select games all season long.
Tomorrow night at 7, the Flyers take on the Capitals. And if you're not lucky enough to be one of the 3,100 fans in the building, you can catch all the action here.
Over to the first side.